I only have dinner with two people, my wife and NBA insider Ric Bucher. Bukes is on the show on a Monday, baby. Covering the NBA since the 90s. He'll be on Speak at 4:30 Eastern on FS1. So it's funny. I'm flying back. Got up this morning and heading to the airport. Bradley Beal to the Suns. And I was like, whoa. You know, I hear rumors all the time. Why did it happen so quickly before the draft?
Well, because there was competition for him. Miami was interested. And it's the same as with the Kevin Durant deal. Like Matt Ishbia buys the team, and the next minute he's making a deal for Kevin Durant. He has moved fast, and he hasn't cared necessarily what the price is. But in this case, price is fairly low. So what I don't get, though, is I don't get the fit. You were already top heavy, and it didn't work with Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. You were hurt by your bench. You were hurt by your lack of defense. So now adding Bradley Beal and moving two more players out in Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, you're not solving any of your problems.
So here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to move DeAndre Ayton.
For sure. They have to.
Yeah, and they're going to get defenders and a bench player.
Okay, but how many can you get?
If you told me they brought in 2, 6, 7 guys who can defend, I'm good with a team.
Really?
Well, who led the NBA in bench scoring? The Pacers, Spurs, and Pistons.
Okay.
You know who was bad at it? Miami, Boston, Philadelphia, and Denver was average. I can't make Landry Shamet more talented.
Right.
I can cobble together through the buyout market, the draft, free agency, trade deadline. I can cobble together a competent bench. If you give me these 3 guys, I don't need a great... Denver didn't have a great bench. Miami's bench didn't do anything. Denver's was 5th. You know who had the best bench in the playoffs? Sacramento. Couldn't win a series.
Okay, what are you basing best bench on?
I'm on bench scoring. So Sacramento's bench scoring in the playoffs was remarkable. They couldn't beat the old Warriors.
There's a lot more that you get out of your bench and your other guys than just scoring, especially if you're top heavy. Like, to me, finding those 3-and-D guys and defensive guys, like those are gold right now.
That's what you trade Ayton for.
Okay, but you need to show me who you're going to get. And then, okay, so you get 2 really good wing defenders.
Yeah.
Now you're incredibly small.
Well,
and you can't play big and small. That was the beauty of Denver, is they could play big, but they could also play small and fast. And as we've seen, this idea that you need a big 3, that top heavy works, is a myth. I'm not sure it ever worked. Even going back to the Boston Celtics teams, that's where it started, with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, when those came together. But if you looked at the rest of that team with P.J. Brown and Sam Cassell and James Posey and Eddie House, even Liam Poe played 14 minutes a game. He gave you 8 points and 4 rebounds. Depth has always been an important element. And then the other part is, how do those pieces fit together? In the case of KG, Paul, and Ray, they worked because they all had a different strength and they supported each other. Here I've got 3 largely perimeter scorers.
Yeah.
And who's your playmaker? Who's your distributor? Because you don't just need defenders.
Well,
you need a point guard now.
My takeaway is Beal can be at times your lead dog. Also, I think Booker's a more dynamic Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray can get clogged up and trapped. It's hard to trap Booker. You can give Booker the ball and he can get you into the offense. Booker,
and what he showed after Chris Paul got hurt,
he's pretty good.
He showed me more than I've ever seen.
They also have Cam,
but Campaign, he's not really a get you into things. So, and they got 5 guys on the roster right now. They got 5 signed guys. They're going to have to sign 7 or 8 guys to all minimum contracts. Colin, you work some amazing magic. Like, you know this, J-Mac. Like, behind the scenes, he's pulling all kinds of strings. I go into wardrobe or I go into makeup, and they're like, yeah, Colin doesn't think the tone is quite right. You need a different pigment on your... Like, he's pulling all kinds of strings. But even you... signing all minimums, and you've got to build a team that's going to be better than the Denver Nuggets?
Well, time out. First of all, that's the standard right now. So if my team's not as good as Denver, it's like saying you're not making as much money as Amazon.
Okay.
It's not the worst criticism. Okay. does it put them, old Warriors, old Lakers, beat up old Clippers, Sacramento's young and interesting, but not quite there.
Yeah.
It does put them, to me, in a rarefied air. Okay, I'll give you an example. So we've been talking about how perfect. I mean, if I have to hear about the Celtics, but Nick Wright's been on this. So who facilitates their offense? They don't really have one. Marcus Smart's a defensive guy. Jaylen Brown's a wing. So is Tatum. They don't have one. Now, they kind of make it work because they're in their prime. I think this team is so profound as an offensive piece.
Yeah.
And let's go back to Denver. Without this bench, they beat him twice. Chris Paul got hurt. They were the one team that they made Denver sweat in multiple games. So now I've got 3 elite scorers. You move Ayton. If it was me, I would say, get me 2 6, 7.5 defensive players, solid NBA guys, 3 stars. I like the coach. I think you're top 2 in the West.
So you really like this move and these
Absolutely.
Suns.
I am not into the star label. My theory, you and I talked about this over salmon.
Yes.
At the grotto.
Salmon, asparagus at the chateau. I think chateau is a little more appropriate.
So we
even
talked
though there
about
is water.
This. It's not 3 stars. It's 3 impactful players. Aaron Gordon was as good as Denver's bench was. When he got hurt in Game 5 against Miami,
Yeah.
you're like, he doesn't even score. They have a hole in their team. These playoffs, you get down to the finals, do you have 3 dudes on the floor that can change the outcome? That's what they give me.
But they give it to you in the same vein. Like Aaron Gordon could change the game by the way he defended Jimmy Butler and the way that he rebounded and the way that he could just pound Gabe Vincent if you got a switch on him. Yeah. To me, they're too duplicative.
Okay.
They're too much jump shooting there's just not enough variation and variety for this to work to the level. And by the way, they've given away all of their assets.
Yeah, but what are they? Second-round picks?
No, but I mean, they don't have any they gave up first-round picks in the Kevin Durant deal. They gave their young talent.
See, this is a theory that I agree with Phoenix. So in the NFL, when you pay Mahomes,
yes,
you have to hit on 5th, 6th, 7th round guys. Kansas City did.
Yes.
In the NBA, the kids that come into the league are not close to ready. Outside of Scoot, Wembanyama, by the 13th pick, guy's not ready to play.
Fair.
So their timeline in Golden State is Steph.
Yeah.
Their timeline in LA is LeBron. Their timeline is Kevin Durant. They need guys that can play now.
Fair. But what's the shelf life on Kevin Durant right now?
2 great years.
Okay. And then what?
I'll worry about it when it happens. It's Phoenix. It's a winter league. Guys like to play there.
It's so good.
You think I'm crazy?
No, I think, yes. In this case, I think you're crazy.
I think you
just push. I don't care. Just push all my chips to the middle of the table.
I'm not a big, Boston example. So Boston's going to be very reluctant to make a move on Brown, Tatum, and Smart. And my takeaway is, if Miami lands Dame, you're not as good as Denver. You're not as good as Miami. So now you're yippee. You're not making any. Your future's terrific. Make moves.
No, but you can do both. You can build a current team and protect yourself for the future. And by the way,
it's hard.
I know this is you off the rails because we had a conversation about business and how when you start running a business, you suddenly realize, oh man, I can't just fly by the seat of my pants. I can't just pay everybody. I can't just go get like every star that catches my eye.
But this isn't flying by the seat of your pants. It's going from Chris Paul, who can't finish a playoff series, to a younger, better scoring option who doesn't need the ball to score.
I'm not arguing with making the deal for Bradley Beal.
Would you have made the deal? They gave away nothing.
Yeah, no. Fair. And they were going to waive, or they were saying they were going to waive Chris Paul anyway. And they really didn't give anything up to get Bradley Beal. I'm not mad at the deal.
Yeah.
I'm mad at the idea that Bradley Beal now makes them considerably better or more of a threat to win a championship than they were. I think he makes them better. I think he makes them a better regular season team.
How about this?
Makes them a bigger attraction.
Couldn't I argue this? Last year, what they were is a center who didn't like his coach and a 2 old point guard and 2 wing scorers. Now they're 3 agreeable wing scorers. Sounds better to me.
Yes, it is better.
And then just go trade Ayton and get a couple of 6'7" guys that can defend. Feels like a good team to me.
It is a good team. It's a good team. Let's just not put them in the championship conversation.
There's not many in that. Did you have Miami in that this year? Because they were close.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But you can see why Miami ended up getting there. I don't know that I would put the Phoenix Suns in the top 5 teams in the league right now.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Oh. I don't think I'm not putting them ahead of Boston. I don't, and just let's go west. Let's go west.
I get KD, Booker, and Beal. None of those guys have ever been afraid to take the shot. I'm not sure Jason Tatum wants to.
Who's going to get them the ball?
Well,
they have the same issue as Boston.
Except
we can make a case.
Except better high-end talent.
But not as good defensively.
Oh, okay. Defense. I heard all year.
And not as good a bench. They got 6th man of the year.
Bench.
They got Derek.
You're selling the house based on the garage. It's not selling the house, bro. The kitchen is, the yard is, the fire pit is.
Yeah, okay. But I have to have a garage. If I don't have, if I got to park the car in the living room, it takes the value of the car down. When it snows or rains, it takes down the value of the cars or the house significantly.
All right. I had something else here. So Draymond declining his player option, meaning
it's not a big deal.
They're going to sign him at a bigger number.
Yeah. He wants more years. And
what's he got left? A year?
Yeah. If he opted in, I think it was close to $40 million, something like that, for 1 year. They'll figure it out where he gets 2 years for 25 or 30, depending on how generous they want to be.
Mike Dunleavy, now the GM, does it affect the Klay Thompson contract? Got to pay him more per year.
Yeah, that's going to be a sticky one based on the last things we heard from Klay, who thought that he should get a max extension. He's not worth a max extension. They can't afford it under the new CBA.
And he has a year left. Why do I have to pay him? Why can't I just play Klay for a year?
You could do that.
Why wouldn't I?
You very well should do that. It's just a matter of, this is where it gets tricky with Mike coming in and why they had to have somebody from the inside. Because these guys have come up together.
Of course.
The chemistry and they are very tight knit. Yeah. And so, other guys don't count other guys' money, but like Draymond and Steph are going to have their ears to the door in terms of how they're handling Klay. It affects everybody on that team.
Let me ask this. Is there a chance they'd move off Jordan Poole to get size? Because I thought Moses Moody had a very, very interesting playoff. I found myself watching the Warriors and asking Steve Kerr, get Moses Moody in the game. Yeah. Would they move Poole for size?
I believe that they would. And they would package Poole with Kuminga. And they would have to do that.
And get 18 points, like Karl Anthony Towns like.
Yeah. Somebody said, I was talking to some scouts and executives over the weekend, and one of them said, Jordan Poole's and Tyler Herro's may be the 2 worst contracts in the league because of the size of them and because of the uncertainty of what they can do.
For the record,
I know you're a Jordan Poole
no
acolyte, but
no.
You're not?
Tyler can be immature and Jordan can be immature.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler went sideways for a year in Miami. So my takeaway is, yes, they're overpaid. They get their own shot, and they scored over 20 a night. It's hard to find in the league.
There is a talent there for sure. Is it worth how much you're paying them is the question, and can they mature and become better? That is the question.
Most people do over time.
That is very true. Probably one of the exceptions. But.
J-Mac, you look like you want to ask a question.
I don't.
Are you champing at the
First
bit?
of all, it's This idea that the Phoenix Suns are not a top 5 team in the league. Heading into the playoffs.
This idea.
They had one of the, I think they were the
idea.
second or third best favorite to win the title. And now you're saying they're not top 5 after adding an all-NBA guard?
Do we need to go back to what the odds were going in the playoffs this year and who was favored and where the Lakers were and the Warriors and conversely where the Miami Heat were?
Yeah, I mean,
or
you would
even
say-
the Denver Nuggets?
Rick,
Okay,
wouldn't you say the Suns passed the Lakers with this Bradley Beal deal? You got to
Suns,
think about that.
I could make an argument that the Lakers don't have a single player that can dependably hit a three-pointer as well as Booker, KD, or Beal.
Fact.
The 3 best shooters in the series would all be Phoenix Suns. I would take that any day. Also, Booker's got another 6 years in his prime. That
Rick,
guy-
who pushed Denver harder than anyone in this postseason?
I thought it was Phoenix.
No, there's only one answer. It's only Phoenix. Nobody else pushed them. Don't tell me Miami pushed them.
In the words of the great Michael Malone, they didn't bring their defense to Phoenix, and Phoenix took advantage.
Yeah, Denver was 18th in the league in defense this year. They took advantage of a weak Miami offense in the finals that had a bunch of undrafted guys that exceeded
the Denver
expectations.
Nuggets now?
I'm not.
Are you selling their...
I gave you facts
It
and
sounds,
numbers.
it sounds like you're selling their
Bucher,
championship
you're making
short.
it sound like I still think Denver's the favorite, but my takeaway is just say it out loud. If I said to you, I can make and I'm not saying they're the Heatles, but Wade and LeBron never fit. They had no size and nobody liked Mario Chalmers, and they ran to the finals 4 straight years. Fit can be overrated if I have talent.
Mm-hmm.
You give me, I've been in the TV business for a long time. Give me talent. I'll make Barkley and Kenny Smith and Ernie and Shaq other personnel. It'll work. I'll just make it work. Who would have thought Howie Long and Bradshaw? One guy's the straight man. One guy, they make it. People just make it work.
Colin, what about Bradley Beal going from the number 1 option in Washington, number 1, to now the number 3 guy in Phoenix, where there's no pressure on him to deliver? Dude, get open, cut to the back, same as Aaron Gordon and Wiggins that we've talked about for weeks. Going from being a top 5 pick and all the pressure on you to carry the franchise to being an accessory.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Boy,
huge.
did he carry that franchise, too.
I mean, he only averaged 30 a game in the last playoff series he played in. No big deal.
47, didn't go to the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah, who's he playing with?
Thank goodness they took that off
Who's
his
he
back.
playing with? Kyle
He must be
Kuzma?
worn out
Okay.
carrying that team to the lottery.
You're Chris Paul.
What? By the way, you guys just suggested that building an NBA team is like building a TV show.
It is.
It is not.
It's a lot of egos.
Don't hit me with the
It's
you
a
guys
lot
on
of
that one.
egos that don't want to play defense that you have to harness to head in the right direction, and everybody wants to be the leading scorer. It's the same damn business. It is the same business.
That's good.
Okay, Chris Paul, tomorrow,
Yes.
you're his agent. Where would you Clippers, Lakers, where would you tell him to go?
Oh, that's tough. It's tough largely because Lakers fans think that I don't want anybody to go to the Lakers.
What do the Clippers need? Go.
I
in
would say
life.
Clippers.
In life?
He's exactly what they need.
Thank you.
Chris Paul, you need somebody who's going to operate, and it's not so much that the part with the Lakers is you still need the ball in LeBron's hands. If you put it into Chris Paul's hands, it's now AD doesn't have it, LeBron doesn't have it. There's so many pieces with the Clippers. I'm better off when Chris Paul is making the decisions.
Also,
so I would say the Clippers.
Austin Reeves is at his best.
Yes.
Creating
Another
contact.
guy.
You take the ball out of his hands. LeBron had a horrible shooting year. LeBron's best, getting to the basket. You would take Austin and LeBron's strengths away. And if you have an option in life to work for a company, I tell my kids this, go where you think you're needed most.
Yep.
Like Chris, I've been watching for 3 years, I've been watching the Clippers. I'm like, Kawhi Leonard in his prime never had big assists.
No,
it's
the
not
ball,
what he
ball
does.
sticks in his hands. He's not a great passer.
He's not.
No.
All right, Bukes, this is a pretty good performance by you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But
But
I
I'm going
will-
to bring in some 6'7" guys to replace me then. We're good.
If I told you tomorrow they trade Ayton, first of all, let's just play this game.
Yeah.
So I think Ayton's a good player. His problem is he's not a great defender, rebounder, or scorer. He's just a really good athlete, runs the floor.
Yeah.
Where in the NBA, give me a team that could use Ayton, and let me see what they have as wing players. Who needs size in the league? Go ahead.
How's
Jamie.
this one, Rick? So Miles Turner and whoever you want on the Indiana bench, TJ McConnell or some random guy, so that the salaries match up.
Yeah.
That's 2 guys who can play. And I mean, hell, Miles Turner might be better than DeAndre Ayton. It's not a big gap.
How about that?
And
You get
McConnell,
some size?
would you do that?
How about
Now,
that?
I don't know if Indiana does that.
I would, sure. I would do. I mean, Indiana made the offer sheet, so they've got interest there.
Okay,
yeah.
Miles Turner.
Okay, so let's say they get Miles. Phoenix gets Miles Turner, and I'll even give you Buddy Hield.
No, they're not doing
They
that.
don't need Buddy Hield. They don't need Buddy Hield.
You take it, but TJ McConnell has value.
This
as a
is
point
my
guard defender.
largesse. I am saying I will give you Buddy Hield. I will go so high as to give you Buddy Hield. You have Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, KD, Booker, and Beal.
Pretty good club.
And now I got to find 7 other players.
Yeah, you don't think you could
campaign? We'll say 6.
Okay, that team right there can absolutely make the finals.
What about Jock Landale? It sounds like he's
I
sticking
like
around.
Jock.
And he wasn't
Hey.
bad in the playoffs.
Jock Landale.
Colin, we haven't
nobody
even
throw
got to
shade on this show to
guys-
Jock Landale.
the ring chaser idea. Like, how many guys are going to want to ring chase living in Phoenix and say, yeah, I'll take the minimum. I made a lot of money. I don't mind coming off the bench to help out. Whoever. Find the guys. I haven't looked at every
Thanks
NBA
for that,
roster.
Landale.
Jock Landale played in the
You know what?
NBL.
I don't think you guys need me for this conversation anymore. you guys pretty much are supporting each other.
God, I love NBA trades.
Oh, thank you, NBA. It's the off season, and that you know what? And we're gonna get a couple more. Now we still got the Damian Lillard question to answer.
This is fun.
I got a feeling he's gonna be on the move too.
Yeah, we know where he's going.
Yeah,
Milwaukee or Miami. Both good.
I would guess Miami.
By the way, do you believe that the Bucks were strongly going after Bradley Beal?
Yeah, 100%. They would love to switch out Chris Middleton.
So why
Chris
wouldn't
Middleton's
they-
got an opportunity to opt out of his deal, and I think that they would love to move him and get younger and somebody more dependable.
I think they got the
physically at
best
that
out of
position.
Chris Middleton. I think it's time to.
So then do you
100%.
make a hard press for Damian Lillard?
I would love Milwaukee's like Portland, nice northern climate. My daughter was there like 2 weeks ago. She's like, this place is cool.
You know what?
Cool little town.
So the Bucks facility
Yeah.
is right on the backside of the lake.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful. It just sneaks up on you. It's a beautiful area in the summer.
No, summer, fall, Milwaukee's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yep.
What about the winter?
It's rough.
Well, you're playing games. You're on the road.
That's right.
You're in Miami and L.A. and Houston.
Manhattan Beach guy loves to dump on other cities.
I did not-
Not every place is 81.
Yeah.
Not every place has a Dells, right?
Wisconsin Dells. He thought it was a mall.